The mayor of the city of Phoenix is back. Welcome into another edition of the PHNX D-Backs podcast right here on PHNX. My name is Derek Montiel. Of course, like I said, known as your mayor of not Phoenix. PHNX, of Phoenix. And just to address rumors, no, I've never met that woman before in my life. And no, I did not pay her 200 D-Bucks to do that. So welcome in. Of course, I'm joined by Mr. Electric, Shawn, and your vice mayor of Phoenix, Thunderstick Jesse Friedman.
I'm amazed you could make time for us today, Derek.
No,
Don't you
know.
have city council meetings to be at? You have roads to fix, right?
Everybody's tweeting me to fix their roads, like as if it's not the mayor's job to single-handedly do that. Contact the Department of City, Works and whatnot. I don't know what they're called. Get a hold of them. Leave me alone. But
you have no idea what the name of any of these things is.
I thought I wore a sash and waved, but apparently there's a lot more paperwork involved with this position. Just got done kind of reviewing the numbers and getting over the loss. The Arizona Diamondbacks lose to the New York Mets, who honestly have been playing better baseball lately, but neither pitcher was very good in this game. You would definitely say neither Zach Davies nor Max Scherzer were unhittable in this one, because this was a slugfest between the Diamondbacks and the Mets, and the two starting pitchers were kind of the focal point of the offense.
Yeah, I mean, Max Scherzer was kind of cruising, right? There was the first inning homer to Corbin Carroll, which was incredible. Once again, Corbin Carroll and his ridiculous opposite field power. It was something we've seen before, where he just takes a changeup that was like 2 or 3 inches off the outside part of the plate and just goes the other way and
casually hit it for an opposite.
Casually goes opposite
at this
field.
point. How casually good he is at baseball.
Yeah, it is, right? Well, and I mean, of course, like the power though. Like when we're talking about this home run, his power is just based in hitting the ball really well. Like it doesn't even look like he's really smashing it. He just hits it. He just hits it in the sweet spot of the bat, and somehow is almost at 20 home runs before the All-Star break. I don't think any of us thought that he was going to get much more than 20 home runs in the entire season. And here we all are at the All-Star break, and he's at 18.
Yeah, I mean, he keeps exceeding expectations, like
in every possible way.
I mean, we talked about it a bunch, like the contract and everything, but like it is just day by day becoming more and more of a value, of a steal for the D-backs. It's just casual. It's just so casual. Like he's just, I don't know. It just seems like he doesn't put any effort into being great. And it's really fun. I saw a graphic today that was like asking about, I know we're going to talk about the draft later, but the best, like the first 2 picks of MLB drafts, and like multiple of them, I think 2 different ones had players that were selected by the D-backs, who obviously don't play for the D-backs.
Yeah.
And it was just sitting there being like, damn, it is nice to feel like the D-backs have their guy for the foreseeable future.
Oh yeah. And it's interesting you bring up his contract, because one thing I've pondered is like, is Corbin Carroll living up to his contract?
Mm-hmm.
Like, no, I mean, like, is that why he's playing so well? Or is it, like, would he be playing even better if that contract was still out there and he was still playing for it? Like, I don't know. But I mean, he seems like the kind of guy that wants to do right by those that did right by him. So it almost feels like he's playing so well because he wants to make sure that the Diamondbacks do feel like they got a value. And as Jesse and I have talked about quite a bit, Jesse, it feels strongly like he is playing really hard for that Rookie of the Year, so that the Diamondbacks get that draft pick that they get in case he does win that award.
Yeah, I mean, what's crazy is that you get that draft pick not only if you win Rookie of the Year, but if you finish top 3 in MVP voting. And that part of it has also very much come in.
We didn't think that was even an option, so we didn't even bring that up, right? Like, we touched on that, but we were like, ha, yeah, right, Corbin Carroll, top 3 in MVP
I don't know if we even did touch on that.
Yeah, right.
You just don't. I mean,
so
for as great as you figured Corbin Carroll could be, you didn't necessarily think he'd be top 3 in MVP voting in his first year in the league. I don't really think that the contract has had much to do with this. If anything, I think Corbin's done a good job not thinking too much about that and just going out there and being himself. $111 million is a lot of money, but I believe Corbin's making like $1 million this year. So in some ways, he's actually not making all that much money at all at this point in his career. That contract was more about the money that's to come later in his career.
Correct.
But yeah, I mean, it's incredible just the way that he continues to show up, and it looks like the shoulder is okay. And that's the biggest takeaway here more than anything else for me.
But going back to what we were discussing earlier, Max Scherzer, like you said, was cruising kind of after that home run. But then all of a sudden the Diamondbacks started being able to get some more dingers off of him, and Scherzer's line doesn't look great. Zach Davies' line also did not look great, but neither starting pitcher gave them really the win or the loss here. It was basically a push as far as the performance of the two starting pitchers. So as much as we want to get down on Zach Davies for having another poor outing, he did perform at the same level basically that Max Scherzer did. 5 2/3 innings pitched, 5 hits.
Yeah.
Scherzer also had 5 hits, 4 earned runs for both pitchers, 2 walks by both guys. Davies gave up 2 home runs. Scherzer gave up 3. Scherzer with 9 strikeouts, Davies with 6. So, I mean, again, not a great outing by any stretch of the imagination from either starting pitcher, but Zach Davies was really not the reason they lost this game. It was the Mets bullpen kind of coming in and holding the Diamondbacks and making things exciting there at the end of the game. And the D-backs bullpen, of course, giving up 4 earned runs in 3 1/3 inning of work.
Yeah, I mean, I think Zach Davies outperforming Max Scherzer, like that's a win for the D-backs in some ways. But yeah, at the end of the day, as you said, the bullpen for the D-backs was just not as good as the bullpen for the Mets. And that's something that's going to happen. The D-backs bullpen has been actually pretty good in recent days. Those couple of Scott McGuff eventful games notwithstanding. Outside of that, the bullpen has been pretty good and has really been more of a contributor to the Diamondbacks winning games than losing recently. So
some bad umpire calls, by the way. One so bad during Austin Adams' relief appearance that it made my wife leave the room. She just got up and walked out and refused to watch anymore.
The downright. Well, actually, maybe it wasn't downright. They were talking about this in the broadcast. The Jake McCarthy strike, or like not being alert to the pitcher violation. Where he was clearly alert to the pitcher, but he had his foot on the line of the box. Which
I thought was still legal.
Because that's what I thought too, and that's what they thought. I was watching the Angels broadcast yesterday, and that was one of the things that they thought it was all legal too. I feel like umps just kind of suck this year. Conspiracy theory. I think umps know damn well that the union will not let them make any less when the robot umps come. So they're just sucking so the robot umps can come and they can make as much money while doing half the work.
Crazy direction for conspiracy theory.
I think the umps are sucking on purpose.
I like it
because it seems like they suck this year. It seems like every game we talk about them struggling with it, not being that great.
And in past years, everyone's always so happy with the umpire. So this is the first year we've had that
feels
problem.
like, and I get that I'm probably watching a little more intently, but it feels like every single game at this point.
Well, here's what I did have this theory early on in the season, and I think that this might hold some water, is that the umps have too much to do. The home plate umpire has too much to pay attention to. So he doesn't just have the strike zone any longer. He has these clocks and these timers and these different things, and like he's not supposed to pay attention to the actual clock on the wall, but there's no way you're not. There's no way you're not seeing the giant orange numbers tick down. But, again, these are just things that are distracting him from his job as home plate umpire, is making those calls. So I don't know. There could be some validity to now you just have too much on the umpire's plate. But I will say I still love the pitch clock, and I think that we're finally at a point where nobody is talking about the pitch clock any longer.
Except Zach Davies after the game.
Davies.
Did you see that clip, Derek?
I did see that clip.
Zach Davies after the game. One of the first things that he said in his conversation with the media after the game was he talked about how the pitch clock doesn't give you the amount of time that you're used to having to sequence pitches, to think through like, all right, what's the best pitch to go to in this particular situation?
Sure.
And the Mets wound up scoring a couple of runs not just a couple of runs. They wound up scoring a number of runs on home runs, 4 altogether. There was the 3-run homer from Starling Marte. There was a solo shot from Brandon Nimmo. And on both of those occasions, Zach Davies talked about how the pitch that he chose to throw just didn't make sense. And he wasn't using the pitch clock as an excuse. I don't want to make it sound like that necessarily, but he did talk about how the pitch clock presents a challenge and you have to think faster. You have to figure out what that pitch is sooner than you would have otherwise. I think Starling Marte and that at bat in particular, the changeup there didn't seem like the pitch that made the most sense. Or if you are going to throw that changeup, if you're going to double up on it like he did, you got to get it down lower in the zone in a 1-2 count than he was able to. He said that he would have rather gone with something hard and maybe changed eye levels with Starling Marte to switch things up there. So
it's interesting you bring that up, because that's the same type of thing that Torey Lovullo said was going wrong with Brandon Pfaadt. He said that it wasn't that he wasn't able to throw his pitches. He just couldn't figure out what was the best. He was like, I think Tori said he was reaching into a random bag and pulling tools out instead of sequencing those pitches in a way that made sense that could cause that swing and miss and cause strikeouts or at least cause poor contact. So, I mean, again, that could be a big reason why Brandon Pfaadt continues to struggle. He's used to the pitch clock. It's not to say he's not, but maybe the combination of nerves and that pitch clock not giving you much time is what's causing him to have issues as far as that sequencing is concerned.
Yeah.
There was a really interesting kind of ninth inning situation where the Diamondbacks did bring the tying run to the plate, or it would have been maybe the winning run at that point after with bases loaded and 2 outs. They walk Christian Walker, they walk in a run, and the bases are still loaded. And there was a wild pitch that nobody moved on that it felt like a big blunder to me. I mean, I might be making a bigger deal out of it than that need to be, just because the final out then goes to second base, which there wouldn't have been someone running to second base. It would have been a little bit more difficult of a play to get him over at first. There's kind of a cascading effect, but would you guys have sent them there in that wild pitch situation, considering the direction of the ball and where everybody was going?
I want to know what Shawn thinks.
I mean, I think obviously hindsight's 2020. I think when I saw the ball bounce away, my first reaction was to throw my hands up because, of course, they advanced the runners.
Like, I think
my gut reaction at that moment was, okay, they advanced. But I mean, no, like I don't have a problem with them not doing it, because the reality was that not one run's not winning you the game. Like, I think, realistically, your best chance of you winning the game at that point is someone with
getting a big hit,
whether it's an extra base hit, a home run, something like that. You need the base runners. You're not like the chances of you playing small ball all the way around to score to tie in the game, I don't think is likely. So I don't have a problem with it. I understand. I like Michael saying, if it's a closer game, I think you got to send him, but needing as many runs as they need in that situation, I don't have a problem with them not sending the runner there.
It didn't bounce that far away. I think it was Dominic Fletcher at third base, who's reasonably quick, but not especially fast on the base paths. I think I would agree with what Shawn and Michael are saying. If this is a one-run game, then maybe you take that risk. But the reality is, Lourdes Gurriel grounded out anyway, and it wouldn't have mattered no matter what. It would have maybe made it an 8-6 game instead of 8-5. But I mean, could you imagine if the game ends because Dominic Fletcher gets cut down coming home? Like, that's a really stupid way to lose a baseball game.
But Alvarez was the one chasing the ball down, so there wasn't anybody covering home plate. So the out would have had to be made at like third or something else besides going.
Well, I mean, the pitcher would have come, right, and covered home plate in that spot. I don't remember exactly where he was at the time, but I think they probably could have made that play.
No, I agree. I think the only thing there is that pressing the action is kind of been the Diamondbacks thing, right? Like, that's how they've made stuff happen. And I mean, again, I agree with everything you guys are saying. The only thought is that then the Mets start to get more nervous, and then you're just, again, you're creating that chaos. You're applying that pressure. You have these speedy guys on the base path, and the Mets just, then defensive mistakes continue to happen. Pitcher makes mistakes. You never know what happens when you start to get those runs in and start to continue to dwindle that lead down and make it a closer game. But
so Alvarez picks up the ball, he throws it over David Robertson's head, and Fletcher scores. Yeah. And then next guy comes around third and he scores. Yeah. And then Robertson chases it down. He gets the ball. He throws it back to Alvarez covering home, throws it over his head, and then that guy scores. And then it looks like a genius decision.
100 times, Jesse.
I will say
it 100 times.
I will say that, like, when you consider who was on the mound, like, Robertson's been pretty good this year. You might look at it a little differently, but like, you got to try and get runs when you can, and like you said, kind of create that chaos by making them uncomfortable. But like I said, I think ultimately, hindsight's 2020. You can't risk it in that situation.
You're right. And I think the biggest thing is like you guys said, you don't want to make the final out when you sit there wonder what could happen, especially considering Lourdes Gurriel just hit a grand slam a few days ago that ended up being the difference maker. So
that's true.
But our difference maker in this game, of course, is none other than Corbin Carroll, 2 for 4 in this game with that home run and 2 RBI. Corbin Carroll appears on this graphic quite a bit, you guys, and that's not a terrible thing.
No, he's really good at baseball, man. I don't know how many times we're gonna keep saying it. He's really good at the sport. It is like I don't know. Sometimes when things don't make sense, I just get angry. Like, that's my natural reaction. And every time he does something, I just kind of get pissed because I'm just like, how is this like?
How are you naturally this good at this sport that's so difficult to so many people?
It's just like games will just be happening, and then all of a sudden it's like, oh man, he's hit that to left field, and it's just like, okay, I guess the D-backs have one more run than they had 30 seconds ago because this guy is just really casually good at the sport. He's just good, man.
How many times does he almost beat out a ground out that would have been a ground out for any other batter, but he somehow makes it a foot race between him and the pitcher? You know,
that's the thing. It's just like he did so many different, like he's going to hit a home run, and the next at bat he's going to get an infield single, and it's just like both things are really frustrating if you're the other team. He just beats you in every way.
Gabriel says he was safe at first. I don't know why it wasn't challenged. I don't know about that.
I didn't think he was. I didn't think he was safe at the moment.
It looked like it on the replay. I noticed that, but
Really?
It was like a weird angle on the replay where it looked like his foot touched the base, but I'm pretty sure it didn't.
Yeah, because it seemed like they got there in time.
Gabriel also said we might need to establish the Devin Booker rule for Carroll. If he doesn't hit a home run, he can't be King Snake.
That's fair. Yeah, so I don't know if the Suns, they stopped allowing Devin Booker on unless he scored like 25 points or something like that. I don't know, 30? 30, yeah. So unless he scored 30, he wasn't allowed.
Baseball's just different, though, right? Like, because Devin Booker averages like almost 30 points a game, right? Corbin Carroll doesn't average to go like 2 for 5 with a home run.
Right.
Like that's impossible. You'd be hitting 400 with like a 1,000 slugging percentage.
We will make him our King Snake whenever we want to make him our King Snake, and that's the way it works around here.
If him and Geraldo Perdomo had the exact same stats in a game, then I think we probably give it to Geraldo.
Sure,
but you probably don't.
We want to spread the love around.
But I mean, at the end of the day.
Speaking of weird things that you don't understand, here's a weird thing I don't understand. Why are the Diamondbacks not good at home when there's a lot of people there, Jesse?
Fold under the pressure, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah. Sometimes you don't have that clutch factor all the way up to a 99. But yeah, the D-backs seem to struggle at home when Chase Field is filled to the brim. So far, I think we have a tweet or we have a video for Tori answering it. But so far, they are 0-5 in their most attended games at Chase Field this season, which honestly isn't that surprising because I imagine part of that is playing a very good team that has a fan base that steps out. But I didn't really see a lot of Rays fans there during that series, but there were a lot of fans in attendance for that one during the middle of the week. I don't know if that's one of the top 5 attended games, but Jesse might know more than me.
I don't think so. But the
usually
D-backs
they're weekend games with a bobblehead involved.
Yeah, I don't think any of the Rays games got over like the mid 20s maybe. But there were over 41,000. I think it was 41,670 at the ballpark yesterday, which was interesting. I mean, I don't know if the D-backs have ever had an afternoon game like that. Yeah. Last year the game was at like 3:40 on July 4th, which was a little weird. But yesterday it was just a normal afternoon 1:10 p.m. start. And yeah, there were over 41,000 people in attendance. Awesome. And unfortunately for the D-backs, every time they've had, I think it's more than 32,000 in attendance, which has happened 5 times this year, and they've lost all 5 of those games.
I mean, they talk about a decent amount in Coyotes with like why guys come here and are successful because of just the lack of pressure. And I think, I'm obviously just hypothesizing, but like, I mean, these guys are not used to playing in front of massive crowds. They're used to it being a relatively low pressure environment when they play for the Arizona Diamondbacks. And that's obviously changing now. Like there's starting to be more and more pressure on them. People are starting to pay more attention to them. And I'm not saying by any means they are going to suck as they get more popular, but I definitely think it's going to be a little bit of adjustment.
It's an adjustment.
Not used to Chase Field being loud, and if it is loud, they're usually cheering against you.
I mean, let's say there's a common factor here, right? They've also, they've not passed a lot of the tests we've talked about when they play some of these successful teams this season, and the Phillies and the Braves, some other teams, including those Rays. They also, kind of have this thing as a team where we see them kind of all, like nobody shows up offensively. And, part of that is, again, that pressing too much, trying to be the guy to get that key hit, and that's all pressure, right? That's the pressure putting on.
And that's the other side of it being a young team is that they don't have like a lot of experience playing in important baseball, at least obviously in Major League Baseball. So I definitely think having a bunch of people root for you is definitely an adjustment that a lot of the young guys will have to make, and it's probably, part of the reason why you get a guy like Evan Longoria, because he's been in those. I mean, obviously he's not. He played for Tampa Bay is a little different situation.
He played for the Rays for a long time. Yeah. He knows what it's like to have 40,000 fans.
He kind of does know what it's like to play usually with like no pressure and no one paying attention to you unless the stakes are incredibly high.
Yeah, he did play in San Francisco.
It's the Giants time. Maybe this is with the Giants.
But I do think that in a way that the Rays is a little more comparable because that's a lot of guys who were not used to people really paying attention to what they were doing.
That's true. And the next
until
thing
they
you
got
know,
good.
Yeah, they got
and then
on
all
a
of
big
a sudden,
stage. Yeah.
not that they were necessarily selling out Tropicana even when they were good, but still.
Sure. But I think it's definitely an interesting factor. Torrey doesn't seem too concerned about it. Here's what he had to say about their lack of performance in these big, widely attended games.
But do you see anything to that?
Not really. We hear them. We feel their support. I know the guys get real excited. Maybe they're over launching with their excitement, and we got to find that sweet spot. No, I don't see any connection because there is such an energy to this stadium, and I've always felt that when it's as full as it was today, that the noise and the excitement and the vibe is pretty special. So I don't think there's any connection to it.
I think as the season progresses and they continue to have these games that have a big attendance, they're going to get more and more used to it. That's the idea, right? Especially as they get on a roll, hopefully in the second half of the season. But it's obvious it's something they have to get used to. It's only gonna get worse as we move closer to the playoffs. And if you do make the playoffs, those are going to be sellout games. So these are all these are environments that the Diamondbacks need to get used to playing in.
Yeah, I'm inclined to agree with Torrey that there's probably nothing to this.
Yeah.
The one thing that I will say could be problematic, going back to that Jake McCarthy, Geraldo Perdomo miscommunication on that fly ball from a few weeks ago, that was because, at least according to Torey Lovello, that they just couldn't hear each other. Yeah. Although there was a lot more to that, which we discussed at the time. But yeah, like that's something you have to adjust to. Yeah. I mean, that's an actual tangible effect of having a lot of people in the stands that the D-backs are absolutely going to have to figure out if they're playing playoff games. But yeah, I mean, it's only 5 games. The D-backs I haven't gone back and looked at it game by game, but they haven't tended to have their best starters in these games. It seemed like, I know Zach Davies started the Father's Day game. That was the 12-3 loss to the Cleveland Guardians. So that's obviously a big factor here too, is who is on the mound. And it kind of seems like they've just had disproportionately not their best starters on the mound in these games.
I took the money line New York Mets in the game against the Diamondbacks, and I did that based on Zach Davies pitching against Max Scherzer. So funny that really didn't factor in to actually the game, but it still won me some money. How'd you do? Did you make any July 4th bets?
I did make one July 4th bet, and I got screwed because I bet on Joey Chestnut over 3.5 hot dogs, and everything with the the delay and the cancellation that wasn't canceled. They delayed it. Reports came out that it was canceled. Shane said that they never actually canceled it; that those were just faulty reports. They eventually played it on later on. I played it, I guess. Had the competition later on, and he well under his listed total. So I got kind of screwed by Nathan's hot dogs.
Yeah, I get it. Well, hopefully you don't get screwed on your bets, but one way to ensure is doing that with bonus bets. Right now, BetMGM players have been receiving a bonus bet upon logging into their BetMGM sportsbook every Friday for the past 2 weeks. This Friday is your final chance. Do not miss out. Claim period extends through Saturday and Sunday. You got 72 hours to log in to claim your bonus bet, and then 72 hours to use your bonus bet after you log in. So log in at any point during the weekend and claim your bonus bet on the house. Do it now, or sign up now if you haven't signed up already, and use our bonus code PHNX. There's a few different offers depending on where you live, but for our Arizona audience, you place your first bet offer, and you will receive up to $1,000 back in bonus bets if it loses with BetMGM. Again, make sure you use bonus code PHNX. Now check out the show notes for full details and listen to Shane talk about the disclaimer.
Disclaimer, 21 plus to wager. Visit BetMGM.com for terms and conditions. U.S. promotional offers not available in Washington, D.C., Mississippi, Nevada, New York, and Ontario. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Colorado, D.C., Illinois, Indiana, Louisiana, Maryland, Mississippi, New Jersey, Ohio, Pennsylvania, Tennessee, Virginia, West Virginia, Wyoming. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369, New York. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP, Arizona. 1-800-522-4700, Kansas, Nevada. 1-800-327-5050, Massachusetts. 1-800-BETS-OFF, Iowa. 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help, Michigan.
Well, we thank you guys for being here right now on the PHNX Sports YouTube channel. If you haven't subscribed already, make sure to do so. Sign up for notifications. That way you don't miss when any of our shows go live. Leave us a little thumbs up. It's Shawn's favorite thing in the whole wide world. If you're listening on the audio podcasting side, please subscribe there as well. Leave us a review. We always appreciate your feedback. Most importantly, sign up over at gophnx.com for a diehard membership. We've had so many people saying wonderful things about being members of the diehard community, and we appreciate that. We love that. We're so happy that you guys are happy, And if you haven't signed up yet, do so right now. Pays for itself almost out of the gate. You get your free piece of merchandise from PHNXlocker.com, 20% off all future purchases. You also get that Dobson Ranch card. You get a Mountain Mike's gift certificate. You get so many benefits out of the gate from us, from our partners. You get member exclusive merchandise. You get access to Jesse's newsletter, Full Count, as well as the newsletter for all of our writers here. Craig Morgan, he's a pretty good writer. He's over there as well, so you get access to his stuff as well. Don't miss out.
He's okay.
He's all right. Die Hard Discord Lounge, of course, is the best place to be an Arizona sports fan. So much more. So sign up today over at gophnx.com. This Sunday is the MLB Draft. We got a lot of fun stuff going on this weekend. Of course, it's MLB All-Star, the start of MLB All-Star weekend. We're shipping Jesse off in a shipping container like Garfield used to send Nermal to, Abu Dhabi. I'm putting him in a small box and sending him across the country to his home in Seattle, where he was once from and used to do this show from. And not only will he be there for all the All-Star festivities, but he will be there for the MLB Draft. So make sure to join us this Sunday, because we will be doing a special live MLB Draft show. Me and this guy will be holding it down here in Phoenix. Jesse will be providing us updates from Seattle. But the MLB First Player Draft starts soon, and the Diamondbacks have 4 picks in the first 100. Not as exciting as last year having the second overall pick,
right?
But the Diamondbacks have been pretty good at finding some pretty damn good players around that middle part of the draft picks. So not too shabby. They have number 12th pick overall in the first round, the 48th pick in the second round. They have a competitive balance round B pick, which is considered the 64th overall pick. And then they have a round 3 pick for the 80th overall pick. So a lot of opportunity for the Diamondbacks to once again improve their farm system.
There's no mystery unknown Russians that they're going to surprise everybody by drafting.
I can't guarantee that. I cannot guarantee that, because you never know. Mike Hazen has scouts everywhere, and they very well could draft 4 Russians in this draft.
It's going to be the Cold War up in here if I hear another Russian.
I can't wait to see his reaction when that happens. He's just going to lose his mind.
Yes. No. I don't have a problem with Russian people. I just don't want another Russian.
That's good.
I don't want another Russian.
Oh, it's not. It's nothing like the cheese shop.
I'm really thankful that I don't have to pronounce the
many
names
Russian
that
names.
They do.
Hauk is a lot easier
Yeah.
than Shimashev.
Yeah.
Yes.
And speaking of, that's the shortstop that a lot of people have going to the Arizona Diamondbacks. Is that right?
That is correct. Yeah. So if you look at the 4, I guess there's a whole bunch of mock drafts out there, but 3 of the 4 major mock drafts that you'll find out there, their most recent iterations, have the Diamondbacks taking shortstop Colin Hauk out of Parkview High School in Georgia. It's the same high school that Matt Olson, won All-Star first baseman of the Atlanta Braves, went to. So Colin Hauk is an exciting young player, and apparently the Diamondbacks have done a lot of checking on him. This isn't just, these mock drafts are there. There is a lot of just kind of suspecting what's going on. People don't necessarily know for sure, but there is some reporting involved in this as well. And it does seem like, from what Keith Law and Jim Callis and some others have written, that the Diamondbacks have done a lot of checking in on Colin Hauk, this high school shortstop, and there's a lot of interest there. He's 6'2", 190 pounds. Baseball America has all of Colin Hauk's tools at 55.
Let's go
on the 20 to 80 scale.
Decent.
So he's basically
all the tools.
He does.
We need a tools guy.
You could,
tools guy.
You could make a case that he has all the tools. He's basically just doesn't really have any real holes in his game. Has a good chance to stay at shortstop, but if he did move to third base, I think there's a good chance that his bat would play there as well.
Also pitches, I believe. So we might have our new Josh Rojas.
I mean, I don't think like he's a quarterback in high school. I don't know if that necessarily surely he could pitch.
Well, I thought on his perfect game thing, it said that he pitched a little bit. I thought it listed him as a relief pitcher.
That could be possible.
Yeah, I think he did.
He probably that wouldn't surprise me.
I mean, it's high school baseball. He was a quarterback.
Yeah.
Everyone pitches.
It's barely a step up from Little League, where they try to have you play every position.
But I'm just saying that is I feel like the bare minimum qualification for position player pitching. Like if you pitched at some point in high school, then maybe you could be decent as a position player pitching.
Yeah. No, I mean, and honestly, when you have a slash line of 487, 589, 981, how are you not attractive to everybody looking at you? But again, that's high school, right? the one thing that always amuses me about baseball players is they've typically been the best person they've like on their team for a while, you know, until they start getting to that major league or at least the minor league level. But
well, yeah, especially when you're a two-sport athlete. Like Alec Thomas was a two-sport athlete. Like, this kid probably just runs his high school.
Yeah.
Like he's he probably is a big deal where he's from, which is one thing I love about baseball is that like it doesn't matter who you are, you're going to be living in Hillsborough or Visalia.
Yeah,
That's
like
true.
you get humbled real fast.
fast.
You might get a nice signing bonus, but you're gonna live in a small town in Georgia for a few months.
Have fun spending that signing bonus on like, I mean, it honestly would be a problem with me because if I got sent in somewhere in the middle of nowhere in the South and all I had was money and time, I'd get fat. Like I would just eat Southern cooking, and I know they're pro athletes, it's slightly different. I would eat all the time.
But it's not really, because again, at a minor league level, you are responsible for yourself much more than you are at a major league level. They'll cook for you at a major league level.
Yeah,
but
there's
minor
nothing
league
stopping
level,
you from going to
good
get
luck.
cornbread
Go get
and brisket.
Oh man, just
God,
all
good
the fried
cornbread.
chicken all the time. I will say
I might
this
get fried chicken for dinner.
about the Diamondbacks do have some players listed that are high school students. They have some also college players. Do you think that there would be a preference going one way or another, considering their timeline or whatever? Do you not think that that's a big deal for this organization at this point?
Well, I recently read Moneyball, so I am out on high school prospects.
There you go.
Yes.
That's the big takeaway from Moneyball.
Absolutely.
I don't think the D-backs necessarily, and at least from what I've heard, I don't think they're necessarily leaning one way or another. I think they're just going to select the best overall asset that they could find. They have gone high school the last couple of years with Drew Jones and Jordan Lawler. But then, you know, is Bryce Jarvis back in 2020 is their first round pick. He was a college guy. So they've definitely favored high school, you know, over the last 5 or 6 years, but I wouldn't necessarily rule out a college guy either.
They do have a right-handed pitcher from Tennessee that they've been looking at, Chase Dollander, who could also be their selection there at 16, right?
That's what, ESPN's Kylie McDaniel in his latest mock draft. He has Dollander going to the Diamondbacks at number 12. It's interesting. Dollander, pretty big name coming into 2023, entered the year as probably the clear-cut best arm available in this draft. So, you know, I mean, would be potentially a really big get for the Diamondbacks. What's a little weird is that if you look at his numbers from this season, he just wasn't nearly as good as people expected him to be. At Tennessee, he was 7-6 with a 4.75 ERA, a 1.27 WHIP, 12.1 Ks per 9, 3 walks per 9. But if you compare those numbers with his prior season, he had a 2.39 ERA, a 0.8 WHIP, and even better strikeout and walk ratios the year prior. So a little bit of an up and down season for him. He had a chance to go, you know, top 3, top 5 in this year's draft. I don't think that's going to happen at this point, but I also am not necessarily sure that he's going to fall all the way to the Diamondbacks. 95 to 97 with his 4-seam fastball. He's got good upward ride.
Touches 99.
Touches 99 miles an hour. And yeah, as far as I know, the stuff didn't necessarily drop off. He just wasn't really commanding it as well this season. So definitely a viable option for them.
It feels like the Diamondbacks have enough needs, and obviously it's a farm system situation that they are going to go with the best available player. And a lot of the other young players they're linked to, it's all a matter of if they fall to the Diamondbacks at 12, if they happen to be there, right?
Yeah.
The Diamondbacks have gotten some steals, and let's be honest, the guy we've talked about all show long, Corbin Carroll. Corbin Carroll was selected by the Arizona Diamondbacks, number 16th overall in the 2019 draft.
Where was Pavin Smith drafted?
Pavin Smith was drafted number 7
That's what I thought.
in the 2017 draft. Yep. They also got Matt McClain in the 2018 draft at number 26. So the Diamondbacks have done an outstanding job at finding good players. Like when you look through their list going back to 2015, a lot of their picks ended up being very quality baseball players at a major league level. But
I might push back on that a
let's
little
go.
bit.
Why?
I mean Corbin Carroll, yes.
Dansby Swanson?
Dansby Swanson,
Matt
sure.
McClain?
I mean, Dansby Swanson was first overall, so that's kind of a different class of first-round pick.
Okay.
Because it's literally the first pick in the
But
draft.
he wasn't a bust, though.
No, he definitely wasn't a bust.
Yeah.
That's fair. But, I mean, like Anthony Greer.
Well, he was number 39.
Number
overall.
39,
I mean,
that's fair.
You're not
Smith?
expecting him.
Pavin Smith at number
probably.
7 overall. That was a pretty weak
That's a
draft,
terrible
though.
draft, though. Yeah.
If you look around at other guys, Mackenzie Gore was, I think, taken 3rd overall in that draft. He's been pretty good, but a lot of other guys from that draft have kind of flopped. I don't know. It's just a little too early for me to say that at this point. Like Blake Walston hasn't really proven much. He's had kind of an up and down year at Reno this year for the D-backs.
There's guys that aren't proven
Bryce
yet.
Jarvis doesn't really look like that much of a prospect at this point.
That's why I
it's too
brought
early
up
to say
Pavin
that,
Smith.
but
It's a crapshoot. Like you got a guy like Pavin at 7. It depends on, and then you get a guy who's in obviously a complete different tier of professional baseball player, and Corbin way later.
Right.
I mean, in the first round, still obviously, but a significant number of picks later than that. Like there is no way to guarantee that this kid is going to be good, whoever they select.
No, very true, right, very true. But the Diamondbacks have done a good job in those middle picks of finding some talent, including they've never picked 12th overall, but they did have an 11th pick at one point overall in 2006.
It went all right.
It was Max Scherzer. So speaking of Max Scherzer,
I don't know. Last time I watched him pitch, he wasn't that good.
Oh yeah, no, I was there. I saw it. Yeah,
I will say. I mean, going back to the Zach Davies Scherzer thing, it's fun to compare those two in a vacuum, but one of them is making a lot more money than the other. One is a lot. It's a lot easier to swallow one of those guys not pitching well than the other.
But Jesse, who else do they have here that the Diamondbacks could end up snagging with that 12th position that you think that they could more likely go with? I know they've been attached to a lot of names.
Yeah, I mean, it is really hard to say. It's honestly kind of rare, I think, to have like a lot of the mock drafts having the Diamondbacks at one player at this point. But even so, there's no guarantees they're going to take Colin Houck. A few other names that have popped up. Kyle Teal, a catcher. I don't think he will fall to number 12, but we've seen a number of catchers go pretty high up in the draft in recent years, and generally the results there have been pretty solid. I don't know if Teal is necessarily the next Adley Rutschman or Jonah Heim, who's come on strong this year with the Rangers. But, a catcher has a really good arm and, a good chance to stick behind the plate and some intriguing offensive skills as well. On the pitching side, Rhett Lauder is a name that I think the Diamondbacks would probably love for them to fall to them at number 12.
Yeah.
I don't really anticipate that happening. He out of Wake Forest, college guy, right-hander, 92 to 95 with his fastball. He is probably the best changeup in the class, or one of the best changeups in the class. So I don't think he'll be available to the Diamondbacks, but if we're through the first 11 picks and he's still there, that wouldn't surprise me. Tommy Troy, shortstop out of Stanford, just kind of a good all-around hitter at the plate. Not necessarily a ton of power there, but has a chance to maybe stick at shortstop, although I think people are leaning towards second base for him, mostly due to his arm. And Matt Shaw is another name out of Maryland. Jacob Wilson, a shortstop out of Grand Canyon University.
Wilson. Yeah, I mean, just
local guy.
Yeah, why not?
Yeah, Jacob Wilson.
Son of a big leaguer too. Always love.
We know the Diamondbacks like taking those guys.
Sons, yeah.
But again, it's the MLB draft, right? So like the wildest part about the MLB draft is you never know when you're going to see these guys. You never know how soon or how long it's going to take. Corbin Carroll at one point with his shoulder injury, everybody thought that was going to cause Corbin Carroll to take a long time to get back on track. And oddly enough, Corbin has he flew through the minor league system, and here he is as a potential, favorite for the Rookie of the Year, potential MVP candidate, and he's 22 years old. So the draft for Major League Baseball can impact a team much sooner than you can expect sometimes for that to happen.
Yeah, even if you take a high school guy, I mean, usually when you take a high school guy, we're kind of expecting like, all right, don't get too excited. You're not going to see this guy for 5 years. But Corbin Carroll sort of disproved that, right?
Yeah.
With 2020 sort of being taken away from him. And obviously
it was taken away from all of us, Jesse.
It was taken away from all of us. That's fair. And then the shoulder surgery that happened very quickly into his 2021 season. I mean, the man basically played the equivalent of like one full major league season between high school and being the player he is right now in the majors. So it is possible for these guys to rise pretty quickly, and even more so for college guys. That's something that you kind of expect. It hasn't really felt like that's been the case for the Diamondbacks a whole lot. A lot of their college prospects have taken a little bit longer to develop. But yeah, like a guy like Jacob Wilson from Grand Canyon, I mean, he has the kind of hit tool that is not major league ready, but maybe isn't really all that far from being major league ready. So it'll be interesting to see whether the Diamondbacks go high school or college at the end of the day.
I think they go best available player that falls to them at this point. And
I mean, I think that's the sort of the default answer in general. Yeah, that we can breaking news. The Diamondbacks will take the best, the player that they think is the best overall player at number 12.
I feel like drafting for fit in the MLB draft is like the dumbest possible thing. You don't know what your team is going to be like in 5 years. Like you have no idea. Drafting for fit makes no sense.
You have like the chance of any prospect making it to the majors.
Yeah,
in
exactly.
The first place
the chance
so
that they
low.
ever play for your team at all.
You're
drafting. Like I think the best you can reasonably hope for is like a trade chip. Like that's the best you can reasonably hope for. And if they end up being I mean, obviously at the top of the draft it's a little different. But if they end up being a everyday player, like even first overall picks are not a guarantee. So if they end up being an everyday player on your professional roster at all, like you have done more than you could probably reasonably expect from an MLB draft. So,
I mean, and arguably Corbin Carroll out of those 3 guys that were all drafted in the top 20. Him, Jordan Lawler, and Drew Jones. Corbin Carroll might be the best player out of the 3 of those. And, who knows?
Saying might is hilarious.
60. Yeah, I know, right?
Like, because I mean, obviously
we don't know, but it's like, how do you not already say he is going to be the best player out of those guys?
A, he's still early in his career, but B, like the idea that these other 2 are not like you can't rule out the idea that they're better than Corbin Carroll quite yet.
I mean, we were having a conversation just a couple months ago about the guy that pulled the Drew Jones 1-of-1 card, right? And how, like, depending on whether Drew Jones makes the Hall of Fame, he should either like keep the card or just like take his money
for
and
some
run.
Absurd offer that is based on if he makes the Hall of Fame. We're already talking about kids getting drafted making the Hall of Fame, but yeah, Corbin Carroll's going to make the Hall of Fame. Stamp it. Put a statue out front of Chase Field now. Build the plaque. Get it ready. Because it's going to happen.
I think they have a little bit of room next to Babe Ruth's for Corbin.
But do it inside. I don't want it outside. I don't want to go stand outside. It's hot. You know how hot it is. It's so hot here.
I think
I'm so burned from July 4th. I put on like 100 SPF and I'm still burned. I don't want to be outside at all. And thank God Chase Field has a roof. And thank God, even though it's an airplane hangar, the air conditioning works so well. It's hot. We're not looking forward to this crazy heat in the valley, but we are looking forward to what our friends at OG's Brands are cooking up. They have their pink lemonade gummies here. They are live just in time for this unbearable heat. They're limited edition, so do not miss out on picking them up. They're fresh with a tangy lemon flavor and a hint of red berry. Of course, they're delicious, just like all of OG's gummies are absolutely delicious. So grab them wherever you get your edibles at. They also have their sleep edition gummies, their happy balance, and so many more options. If you're looking for a mixed bag of flavors, they have those as well, including their fruits and their cream. So OG's does not miss when it comes to flavor and effect. Get your pink lemonade gummies while you can. Check out OG's online at ogsbrands.com and on Instagram at OG's Brands. You can find their products at your local dispensary. Must be 21 years or older to purchase. And shout out to our friends at Illegal Pete's because, again, I know I said it's unbearably hot, but Illegal Pete's patio keeps it nice and cool. So if you're looking for a place to sit outside, enjoy some margaritas, enjoy some wonderful burritos and all sorts of Mexican food, do not miss out on Illegal Pete's. They have their happy hour at all their Arizona locations, 3 p.m. to 8 p.m. daily. They have an irresistible drinks menu and a mouth-watering food menu, everything that you need. This guy's got the shirt on over here, so do not miss out. Don't miss out on the piping hot queso, by the way. It's incredible. Kick off your week with a Margarita Monday at Illegal Pete's. It's Mailbag Monday here, then you go to Margarita Monday over at Illegal Pete's. Exclusive to Arizona location, $3 margs all day long every Monday. Nothing brightens up that Monday mood more than soaking up the sun with a few margaritas. Don't forget, of course, they also have their Taco Tuesdays, $2 tacos all day, every Tuesday. Enjoy your favorite chicken, pork, and veggie tacos for just $2. Swing by and start your week off the right way at Illegal Pete's. Let's take a look at the probables for the rest of this series. Hopefully, the Arizona Diamondbacks can bounce back. And honestly, at this point, these are the studs for the Diamondbacks in their starting rotation as of late, Jesse. These are the guys you want in there. Tommy Henry and Ryan Nelson.
Yeah, you got 1A and 1B going against the Mets and the rest of the series.
That's who we needed. That's who we needed in there.
Kodai Senga has been pretty good for the Mets this season. I know that the Mets took maybe a little bit of flack over the offseason. People weren't really exactly sure how Senga's game would translate into the majors.
But
but
at this point, it's translated better than most of the MLB players they've signed.
yeah. Senga's been significantly better than Justin Verlander, which is a wild thing to say. But yeah, he has a bit of a control issue. He's over 5 walks per 9, but outside of that, he's been one of the best pitchers in the National League. And then Carlos Carrasco finishes the series on Thursday for the Mets, a guy who was once a very, very good pitcher in his Cleveland Indians, now Guardians days. Not exactly the same pitcher he once was, with an ERA up toward 6 on the season.
Now, obviously, these guys have had their ups and downs this season, but both players for the Diamondbacks, Henry and Nelson, have actually been pretty damn good lately. In his last 3 starts, Ryan Nelson has 2.33 ERA and an opponent batting average of 169. Tommy Henry, even better, in his last 3 starts, has an ERA of 1.96 with an opponent batting average of 250. So both of these guys have probably had their best stretch over their last 3 starts, which are pretty good.
Wow, Gabriel says that his dad says that I look like Tom Holland. All right.
No,
I can see it.
Yeah, I would take it and run with it. I'm not sure how,
Gabriel's dad, you are so off the mark there.
It's the glasses. Right?
Yeah, I guess it's the glasses.
We're going to hear about this all week.
My God. I mean, you guys thought I was going to have a big head for being the mayor
I get that
of
all
the
the
city
time.
of Phoenix.
It's like the 10th time.
Yeah.
I got while we're doing this, I posted on Instagram over the weekend, which I very rarely do, and an account who I do not know just randomly commented, like, "Is that Bad Bunny?" ? So if he can be Tom Holland, I can be Bad Bunny.
What is happening? You people need glasses out there. My God, you and the umpires. But I think the Diamondbacks, or I think our show has a commanding lead in the All-City standings. I'm not sure. Do we have an update on that, Damon? Yeah, we do.
Damon sent this in the chat, and Saul responded, "God damn,
this is just absurd. We've distanced ourselves from the pack." And we continue to lead all things All-City.
Why can't this be the actual, screw the rest of the league. Make this the playoffs.
Yeah,
send the D-backs to the playoffs against these 3 teams.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
Let us win a World Series.
We should have an exclusive All-City tournament where the 1 seed plays the 4 seed, and so the D-backs get the Rockies in the first round.
It works a lot better when all 4
Sox.
teams suck and no one makes the playoffs.
Yeah.
So they can do their all tournament.
Yeah.
Now, I guess we're holding everyone back by being actually good at baseball.
I did want to address the fact that I was called the mayor of the city of Phoenix on a national broadcast.
We talked about this on Monday. We talked through the entire incident, but you weren't here.
I'm glad you guys covered it. But did you guys figure out any closer on figuring out how this happened? Am I to blame? Is it my fault?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, maybe.
I don't think it's Kate Gallego's fault. I'll say that. I don't think she did anything to.
You know what? I mean, honestly, if you're not favorable with your constituents, this kind of thing is going to happen. People are just going to want to see someone else take over. I think Mo earlier said I held a bloody coup and took over the democratic process. That's unfair. I did not do any of those things.
The people that do Derek's bidding did that.
I've never met Heidi Watney in my entire life, and I just want to make that clear. I do not know where she got most of the story right.
See,
except the city mayor.
My experience with Heidi Watney, I believe she's in MLB The Show.
She is in MLB The Show.
But the rendering they did of her is not very good in the video game. It's terrifying.
It's pretty bad. They owe her an apology.
They do owe her an apology.
Yeah.
Elizabeth, Mayor Kate should run for mayor of PHNX.
No, absolutely not.
What are you afraid of?
Because everybody wants to run against me now. I don't need her coming in here.
Martial law, anarchy.
We did get a Mailbag Monday question that was really more for you. We tried to take a stab at it, but at the end of the day, it was really directed toward you. Brady Martin asked us on Monday, will Derek be seeking re-election next year? If so, what can we expect his campaign platform to look like?
Oh yeah, we couldn't really speak on your.
We couldn't really, yeah.
Anti-wave. I'm going to ride on a banning the wave platform across all major sports.
You're going to lose the family vote. Though, there's plenty of families. There's plenty of people.
I'm gonna teach the kids about the rotator cuff and how much they can injure themselves in doing the wave.
I respect you sticking to it because if you go to a D-backs game, the fact that the wave happens is enough evidence that you are in the a massive minority in terms of being anti-wave.
Yeah, no, I get it.
At least amongst I respect a politician with principles.
That's what I'm saying. That's 100%.
That's why he's getting my vote.
I respect it.
I run on an anti-wave, anti-James Outman platform, and it's specifically designed for our friend
the David party.
Here. That's why I whittle it down until I'm really just trying to make one man happy.
You want one vote, and it's Damon's.
Like I said, we're shipping Jesse off to Seattle in a box. Jesse, when do you leave, and what are your plans here for the week?
Really enjoyed that one.
I mean, it depends on when the UPS guy comes over, I guess. I don't know.
We got to get you in before 2, because I think the pickup is at 3.
Do we have a red wall for you to call in front of, like your old days in Seattle? You got to find like a red wall for you. You had like a red wall, didn't you, that you did your show in front of?
I don't know. I think that was his parents' house.
I did not have a red wall.
Yeah,
was that here?
Yeah, that was here.
Oh, it was here?
My parents' house.
Yeah.
When
I knew
first
that I wasn't
moved
going crazy. I knew you had done shows in front of a red wall before.
No.
Great. Now we're talking about me living with my parents when I came back to Arizona. It's great. I'm glad.
Okay, well, I didn't know that was the case. You could have just gone with it. Also, there's no shame.
No,
I lived
there
with
is
my
no shame in
ex-girlfriend's
that.
family for a year because I had nowhere to live here. I'm not going to shit on somebody for living with their actual family.
Yeah, I will. I'll do that because I'm the adult around here.
There will be to answer Emma's question though. There will be like fragile.
Stickers on the box that you're on?
Yeah, absolutely.
I'm going to nail it shut, but there will be fragile stickers.
Will you drill air holes in it or no?
I mean, it's not
just throw some like
airtight
in
box. It's like slats. Yeah, there's slats.
There will also be like the this side up arrow just to make sure that
we're basically turning this into Madagascar. Oh my god, that's what Gabriel said. That's literally what I was thinking.
Yes. I said earlier Nermal being sent to Abu Dhabi, but I think that's a much more modern reference. I will say though that I'm excited for your time in Seattle. I'm excited for you mostly to bring us all sorts of updates on Corbin Carroll, because I know you're going to I know you're going to stalk him while you're there.
Yeah, I'm just going to follow him ruthlessly.
Out of the bushes.
Goal.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jesse, you're leaving on Friday, so you won't be here for Friday's show, so we'll be holding it down. Jesse will be bringing us live updates Friday, Sunday, and next week during the All-Star game, so make sure not to miss us. We have our schedule for this week. We got post-game shows for Thursday and Friday, and then again, like I said, on Sunday we'll have our MLB Draft show. So make sure not miss out on all of this that we have going on. We do this for you. You're the reason why we're here. Of course, if you want to go check out some of the Arizona Diamondbacks games before we get to that All-Star break, you can buy your tickets over at Game Time. Of course, Game Time is the place for last-minute ticket deals, not just for sports, but for concerts, shows, and anything else you want to go to. It's the fastest-growing ticket app in the country for a reason. I want to go to some shows in Las Vegas. I will be waiting until the absolute last minute to buy those, and I'll be buying them on Game Time. It's the fastest-growing ticket app in the country for a reason. You can snag the tickets without the stress with Game Time. Download the app, create an account, and use code PHNX for $20 off your first purchase. Terms do apply. Again, create an account and redeem code PHNX for $20 off. Download Game Time today. Last minute tickets, lowest price guaranteed. We also have our friends at Bird Dog helping you look good. Bird Dog shorts do the exact same thing as some of these expensive Lululemon pants you got, right?
Listen, I got them for free. I wouldn't. When you got an option like Bird Dog, there's no point in spending money on super expensive shorts.
That's right.
I got my Lululemon for free. I'll
never pay that much money, but again, he's getting that kind of comfort out of Bird Dogs. They fit way better than regular shorts that are made of stiff restricting cotton. And yes, I am a dad. All of my shorts are cargo shorts, very stiff. It's so that when like the snacks for the kids and the drinks in your pocket leak, it doesn't make it through. Bird Dogs, no, they got that whole thing figured out. They have their invented cloud knit fabric that looks like khakis but stretches, so you get a way slimmer fit without having to sacrifice movement or comfort. Go to birddogs.com right now /PHNX or enter code PHNX for a free Yeti style tumbler with your order. That's birddogs.com /PHNX or promo code PHNX for that free Yeti style tumbler. You won't want to take your Bird Dogs off, we promise you.
Am I allowed to wear them to the press box?
I don't know,
like
Jesse.
Seattle.
I mean, it's really
that's the thing about Bird Dogs. They're so versatile.
Yeah, no, that's what I was gonna say. Like they literally just look like khaki shorts. So as long as you're cool with shorts,
yeah. Well,
They have pants.
I mean, Jesse does have some long gams there, right? He doesn't want to hide them all the time under pants, but he still needs to look professional. He has a reputation to uphold, unlike me. But I will say that shorts like that, they're a game changer. And again, we live in Arizona. Like, don't belittle us for wearing shorts. It's a necessity.
They've got pants too at Bird Dogs.
Oh, they have pants.
They have great pants.
We got Jesse covered.
Great pants.
Great
joggers,
great pants, great joggers,
sweatpants,
I love
and
joggers.
stretch khakis.
I love me some joggers. Don't miss out. Go to birddogs.com right now. Also, check out Saturday Neon. If you need to decorate your place, your Zoom space, your studio, whatever you got going on, it's a company started by two friends and former college roommates that make officially licensed collegiate logo LED neon signs. They're officially licensed for 19 select schools, including that one down south, Colorado, Alabama, Wisconsin, Auburn, and many others. Don't make me say it. Just go see. Mike Luke just commented on a picture of me and my wife today. Just back the A. Had nothing to do with it had nothing to do with the University of Arizona.
Getting back to what Damon was saying about just you got to respect the commitment. Like he doesn't care.
Committed to the bit.
He doesn't care to read the room. I don't know how to read.
No,
like I'll just back the A. No
I'm surprised he didn't
it.
respond with a picture of his Saturday Neon sign that I know he has.
There's one right there, right? Too. There's one.
There
right
is
there too.
one right there. Listen, I'll never turn it on.
I respect Jesse.
You do
Mike
respect
Luke.
me.
I do respect Jesse.
Mike Luke, on the other hand, that's
I
a different
respect
story.
Mike Luke. He is like my Derek Jeter. I hit everything he stands for, but at the end of the day, game recognizes game, and he's got game.
Oh, there you go. Well, game does recognize game, and we recognize Saturday Neon, and they're amazing signs. They're great for offices, man caves, dorm rooms, so much more. Obviously, they make a wonderful gift. Go to SaturdayNeon.com and use code PHNX for 10% off your order today. Free shipping on all orders over $200. Well, that's all we got, you guys. You got some Arizona Diamondbacks baseball tonight. Jesse and I will be out there. We hope to see some of you guys out at Chase Field. Make sure to follow us on Twitter. I am at @cap_caveman with a K. Shawn is at Shawn_DePaz. Jesse is at Jesse and Friedman. The maniac behind the Mac, Damon, is at Damon Dog with a DAWG at the end. And of course, you have to do the little bark when you follow him. Our show is at PHNX_DBacks, but all roads lead to at PHNX_sports on Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. We appreciate your time. We thank you so much. And on behalf of all these guys, we hope you have a wonderful Wednesday. And remember, kids, baseball is fun, but it's so much more fun when you get picked in the first round of the MLB Draft.